Hello, everybody. Or probably nobody yet. It's a late night show. Um, we've been to a wedding, as you can tell. Still got my wedding swag on. I even got my watch on. I don't even wear watches. I don't even know if it works. But I got it on. You know, it's one of those events. You put on the watch, whether the battery is dead or alive. You put that bitch on, and you wear it. Uh, anyway, I just got a text message. I got some things to talk about. Just like I said, got back from a wedding. Congratulations to MV and Chris Spangler. So happy for them. Great wedding, great venue. Barn venue out in Farmville, as they say. Huge barn, dude. Like this place, these barns are like trying to outdo each other, and some of these pieces of wood were like 12 by 12, 14 by 14 pieces of wood, and I can't even imagine how much that shit costs. So it's like, and apparently the people that built it for their own wedding. So I don't know if they had this entire prospect in mind. I don't want to go into it too much, but it doesn't really matter. Very impressive venue, very nice. Thanks for Chris and MV for inviting us. Either way, it got me thinking about. I wanted to say something else about the wedding. It was great. Great bar, free beer, obviously. I need to get back in my notes, which aren't good. Dude, I got so confused in my notes. Here's one thing that happened. I've gotten confused with my own episodes. To where I went back in my notes and I'm like, 23, I've already done episode 23. And I look back into it and it is, in fact, my episode notes for 24. Dude, I'm all over the place. It's not good. I've been drinking today, obviously, too, so y'all watch out, you know. But I think everything's going okay. Can everybody hear me? I don't even know. I'm not even watching it live right now. I checked into it for a second, but I'm not even watching it right now. It's all the same as it usually is, so it should be fine. But yeah, the wedding in general, it was really nice. It actually got me thinking back to the time I just remembered on the way home, because it's like an hour away. On the way home, I got to thinking about how me and Brandon Bowen, the same guy that we stole the golf cart, and it's I don't want to make this a me and Brandon Bowen's fuck ups podcast, but I shouldn't be dropping his name. He's in the armed forces, I think. But Brandon Brown, we'll call him. We worked. His mom worked a wedding venue pretty much called something plantation, um which I don't know, probably wouldn't hold up to this day. I'm sure they probably changed the name, but his mom worked there, and we were, I think, 13. He was maybe 14, or maybe I was 14. He was 15. But it was like this. Like, she offered us a job, pretty much. Like, I don't even know if it was legal. Not that she offered it to us. Maybe she did, but it was just a place that we could work. I was saving up for a dirt bike, I think, a certain dirt bike, YZ125. He was always working as much as he could to save up for whatever motocross he was doing, and we were both motocross racing at the time. Like I said, I was 14. I think he was 15. I think I was 13. He was 14. Doesn't really matter. Definitely too young to be working by law, which I didn't have a problem with. Neither did my mom. None of that's even a part of the thing. Don't even worry about that. So anyway, we work at this plantation, which is pretty much a wedding venue for the day. We I told my mom about it. She was cool with it. She wanted me to go make the money. We left at like probably 1, got there at 2. And of course, it's a big, huge wedding, so it didn't even get done until like 2 in the morning. And when you're like 13 or 14 years old, and they tell you, like, I think it was $9 or $10 an hour, you're like, I'll work the rest of my life without breaks or sleep. You know what I mean? When you're that young, maybe not nowadays, but back then when minimum wage is what it was, and we're talking 15 years ago now. God damn, I'm old. 15 years ago, yeah, when somebody tells you at the age of 13 or 14 you can make $9 or $10 an hour, you pretty much dedicate your life to it. So you go to work on a plantation. Looking back, it might be kind of fucked up, but I don't know. So just maybe I'm not as privileged as y'all thought, working on the whole plantation down there. But really, though, it was just cleaning out the ashtrays and then going to, help out on the assembly line with the mac and cheese right after without washing your hands. Just kidding. We probably did. I don't know. You're 13, 14-year-old kid working, like literally you're cleaning out, like go clean the cigarette butts out of the thing, all the things out of the entire plantation, and then get on the assembly line, like serving up some green beans or whatever the fuck. So, I don't know. It was an interesting job. I liked it a lot because it paid well at my age and I was really looking for money. And at the time, I was just dog sitting, and I started working when I was 13 anyway, 12 I think actually, but I was dog sitting. And then when I was 13, I started working at Sanctuary's Garden. I think I've told that on the podcast before too, but that was just cutting grass and real manual labor. Much more manual labor than the plantation job that I landed there for a little while. But, dude, this I don't know if it was. I think it was the reason why we were getting paid so well at illegal ages and wages was because this venue was so, I think, probably expensive. I mean, this place was huge and really, really nice. And you could tell that the people that were getting married here were extremely wealthy. But oh my God, they were not. They were just as reckless, if not more, than anything you've ever seen. Nothing like tonight. Everybody tonight was super classy, including myself, of course, as usual. But no, really. And when you're 13 or 14, you've been around some drunk people, but not around obliterated people. You know what I mean? Like, your parents have sheltered you enough to where if there's somebody obliterated at a party, they don't, you're not in that room with them maybe. I don't know. I just know that this was the first time that I'm like out working on my own, and I have to kind of deal with the situation, assess the situation with an extremely drunk person, more than one. Ended up being 2 or 3 throughout the night. I'll get into it, but first occurrence was we cleaned out all the ashtrays, all the cigarette butts were gone. We did the mac and cheese. We did the green beans on the assembly line. Shit was dope. This is creeping on 6, 7 p.m. So then the wedding starts getting there. It's a later wedding, probably 6, 7 o'clock wedding. The reception, Jesus, follows after, obviously. They, I think, because it was a later wedding, kind of showed up a little bit more tipsy. And it wasn't even maybe 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock before it was dark and there was issues. There was a girl and a guy fighting, and then there was a brother or a sister of the guy, and then a girlfriend of the. I can't really remember it that well. I just remember really well this girl being so drunk she couldn't really walk, and she's being like not dragged down the stairs, but she like fell down the stairs, and then like she's chasing after this guy. Very heated situation. And she falls down. She's obliterated drunk. But she's probably 24, 25-year-old, smoke show. But in bad shape. Now you got me and my fellow buddy, who's probably 13, 14 and 15 maybe, working this event. And she's obliterated, and she's falling down all over the place without any underwear. Just wide open show going out here. It's not at the wedding. This is like there's a cottage separately, probably farther away than the one I was at, the venue I was at today. Farther away, and it was a wide open field in between though. So she had gone up in there and gotten in, whatever, and then she's like chasing this guy across this field, back over there. And we're just thinking like, holy shit, this is wild without this. Then it comes into like everybody's trying to like help her up, and like I said, it's a wide open show. So it gets a little awkward because we're too young to even like, we're like, just like, whoa, like, first time we've ever seen in person. So nervous, but at the same time, like, oh my gosh. So they deal with her. They carry her away, back up into the cabin or something, I guess. So we're just sitting there like laughing and dealing with the situations, I guess, and cleaning out more cigarette butts or something, taking out trash. Who knows what we're doing? We were there from 2 p.m. when we got there till like 2 or 3 a.m. So we got paid, 12 hours at $9 or $10 an hour, whatever, which at our age was balling. So we didn't care. We were falling asleep at the end, but this wedding progressed, and the drunkenness progressed, and there was another guy, not the same guy that ran from his wife or ex-wife, whoever the, girl without any underpants on, whoever her companion was that she was very angry at, or brother, or whatever was going on there. Not the same guy, but another guy that had probably drinking too much. I guess got in a little bit of trouble at the wedding. Not big trouble. They weren't mad at him. They were just like, hey man, I don't know. We were young. You don't even really know what's going on. You're like, you've never even been around this much drunkenness and chaos at one time. Like, we didn't even know what to do. We've seen girls falling down stairs, people chasing each other like kids throughout fields, and private parts falling out and hanging out, and there is no end at this point. This is like everything is normal. So this guy is obviously drinking way too much, like pretty much the entire rest of the wedding, like it was at my wedding, I guess everybody could say probably. This guy had drinking way too much and was like, doing like everybody was kind of like chasing after him, but they weren't gonna like tackle him. He hadn't done anything wrong, but he literally, like, instead of running away, he got on the table and started running away only with his back. I'll just have to show you. He started running away with his back on the table. Here, watch this. I got my wife's shoes on those, so don't judge me, because my other ones were dress shoes and they were uncomfortable. But so I got them hitters on, in fact, it'll actually be perfect, because he was wearing dress clothes like I was, drunk as hell, and then literally was running away from people, and instead of continuing his pursuit, decided, I'm going to hop on this table like he was climbing a tree, and I'm just going to run on this table, and I guess that'll be okay. I don't want to set it up too much, so I'll ruin it, but literally this is what happened. He was running. Everybody was like, stop, like they didn't know if he was just going to run into the woods like some drunk people we all know and just die out there. But he ran, and then I think he got a little bit tired, and he literally, I swear to God, oh shit, went on the table, went on his back, and just ran. And people, I swear to God, people were just stood around the table like, what the kind of like what y'all are doing right now, like, what the fuck is this guy doing? And they pretty much just pulled him off the table, and he rolled around on the ground. He literally rolled around on the ground for like 3 minutes. Like, people weren't like beating him. He hadn't done anything wrong, really. He was just like drunk. I think he like thrown up, on somebody's leg or something. And he just rolled around on the ground. And me and my buddy are just sitting there like, holy shit, dude. Like, everything's going on. People are taking shots. Everybody's drunk. People are dancing crazy. All these sluts are acting like wild. Dude's thrown up on a chick's leg. He ran across the other side of the wedding. People are chasing him because he's about to, like, he's clearly drunk enough to, might disappear for the rest of his life. And then he, stops and just starts running with his back on the table. And you can tell at that point, it's just like, we didn't know. But now looking back, it's just like, holy shit. Like, how drunk was that guy? To where he literally thought it'd be like he could get away better if he just laid on his back and ran. Ask Brandon Bowen about the story, dude. He will remember vividly what I'm talking about, dude. We looked at each other and we were like, what the fuck? We couldn't stop laughing, though. Like, we were dying laughing. But it was like, we didn't really know what was going on because we were so young. We didn't even probably drinking at the time. So we were we were laughing, just like, look at this crazy guy, almost like he was a special needs or something. He was just really drunk. So, long story short, I guess too. Whenever you're drunk, people that don't know that you're drunk probably just think you're like so drunk you're on like your special needs. The R word that nobody can say now. Retarded. I just said it, but sorry. People think that about you maybe if you get drunk enough to lay on your own table in front of the camera and do what I just did like a clown. But, well, that's the way it goes. And I don't know, man, it just took me back. It took me back to working the weddings. It's a whole different perspective when you're working the wedding than when you're at the weddings. When you're at the wedding, you're just trying to drink as much as you can. You're just trying to get fucked up. I wouldn't tonight because I had to drive home. But I've been home for a little while, and I've been drinking since then. But when you're working a wedding, especially when you're underage, you're not even old enough to smoke cigarettes. When it was 18. Now it's 21, too? Like, I don't know. It was 18 to smoke cigarettes one time back in the day. And back then, before you were of that age, you didn't think, you might have thought about drinking beer, but either way, you didn't drink beer at age 14 or 15 when your mom drove you there for the job. Here's another thing, too. I got a legitimate paycheck from the place to my name. It's like 13 or 14 years old. Not even old enough to work. How does that? I even asked my mom, like, should I cash this? Am I going to get in trouble? Like, this has got a legitimate pay stub and everything. I don't file taxes. Like, you know, this is like sending a legitimate paycheck to an illegal immigrant. You can't do this. But they cashed it, so. That's kind of a dud to the end of the story, but whatever. But yeah, man, it was a fun wedding. They didn't run out of beer like they did at mine. They as in me. I had kegs, though. And they ran out of those. I got married at age 23, though, too. You can just imagine the atrocity. I had a bunch of kegs, and they were literally empty within 2 hours. So it was fucked up. But don't regret it. It was just, you know, I got married young, and I have a lot of thirsty friends, was all. It was a hot day. But, oh yeah. I don't think anybody's watching anyway, but hopefully they will tomorrow. So, last time we talked about Bryan Callen, who I'm a big fan of, or maybe was a big fan of. I don't even know what to think about at this point. But so he had come out with his own statement. I hadn't really posted on the page or anything like that, but I'd said that he had been accused of rape. Not even like, you know, stuff like Chris D'Elia, like texting or, you know, like legitimate rape 20 years ago, 21 years ago, blah, blah, blah. Well, he had come out and said that he doesn't, you know, this isn't a Me Too movement thing. He doesn't delegitimize the Me Too movement. He is not guilty, and that he will come on the podcast Saturday night and speak his word, and that everything, he's not going to be silent like Chris D'Elia, which was my problem last episode. And the big difference between the two, which I noted. Chris D'Elia has been silent ever since. That's not a good look. Bryan Callen was confident and, I guess, brave enough, hold that with a grain of salt, to come out and say, I'm not going to be silent about this. I didn't do this. I'll be on my podcast Saturday night. I'm not avoiding this, and we'll talk about it. Saturday night comes around. No Bryan Callen. Sunday comes around. No Bryan Callen. Monday comes around. Fighter and the Kid. Brendan Schaub. I don't even know if it was Monday. Who gives a fuck? Brendan Schaub and Josh Wolf. I think is his name. I just don't understand the point of making a Instagram video. And I know he's got agents and stuff that not control you, but tell you your best chances to not say anything. If that's the case, why come out and say, I'm not avoiding this. I'm going to come out on my podcast on Saturday night and face this front forward, if that's even a fucking term, and then just not even fucking do it. Like, maybe they did film the podcast and it not was incriminating. I don't know. I don't even know what to think about it at this point. You know what I mean? Like, I was extremely disappointed in Chris D'Elia because everything came out against him, and then he didn't even really defend himself, and he's been silent ever since, and his podcast has been gone ever since. So it's kind of a guilty conscience type move to make. Now Bryan Callen, they say he's on vacation all of a sudden. You know, it's just, I would hope that if I ever have to stop doing this podcast for 8 weeks because of me, and I'm not saying that he did this. Maybe I'm not saying that Chris D'Elia did this. But if I ever felt guilty enough for doing something that I shouldn't have done, that maybe I wasn't guilty for, but I don't even know. I don't even know what I'm saying or how I'm fucking saying this. If I ever had to guilt trip myself out of 8 fucking podcast episodes, or 2 or 3 weeks, we haven't gotten there yet with Bryan Callen, or even one night where I said I was going to come on and I didn't, I would hope that all of y'all would lose respect for me and fanship for me. Of course, I miss, Saturdays every once in a while. It's a late night episode because of wedding. I raced a couple weeks ago. I'm not saying if I miss a week, y'all shun me and, bury me alive. I'm saying if I were to do something bad enough to where I really think I need to go silent for more than even maybe a week or 2 weeks to gather my thoughts, I would hope that you would not only criticize me, but, I guess not be a fan anymore. I mean, why would you? I mean, I know a lot of people are still fans of Louis C.K., even though what he did. It's just, he's come out in comedy specials and talked about what he did. He faces it head on. These guys are just kind of like, oh, my agents say it's best not to talk about it. In his Instagram video, he says that, oh, agents tell you it's not good to talk about it. Oh, agents tell you it's not good to do this, that, and the other. I'm not doing that. I'm going to speak up. I'm going to come on my podcast Saturday night, and I'm going to tell y'all what's up. I'm a big fan of this guy. I'm doing a terrible impression. Then he doesn't do anything. It's really fucking disappointing, dude. Maybe that's the end of the segment. I don't know. I just don't know. That was really all my line was, is just Bryan Callen disappoints. So, like I said, maybe that's the end of it. It's just, at least Chris D'Elia didn't lead us on like he wasn't guilty. He made a statement via text or email or whatever, which is way less genuine if you ask me. If you come out and make a face-to-face video with the camera saying, I did not do this, I will come on my podcast tonight to talk about this, and I will address this with you. You don't have to not be a fan of me anymore. And then I just don't show up that night. What the fuck are we doing? Why would you? And then I don't even think he's deleted the fucking video of him saying that he's gonna. It's like, you at least have to delete the video of you saying that you're gonna come on that night. Right? I mean, I don't know. I'm over it. Sorry to dig y'all down into that, but yeah, Bryan Callen, one of my comedic heroes, now essentially turning into a piece of shit right in front of me. So, just like Chris D'Elia. Too afraid of their own consequences because of whatever they've done to even fucking speak like men. So, maybe they deserve whatever they fucking get. Fuck them. Also, and I'll close it out with this maybe. I feel like the excessive cussing might be excessive. That's fucking dumb. That's dumb. Not effing dumb. That's dumb. I just feel like some people get more offended than others. But I mean, this is a late night show. Tonight's a late night show. Even when it's not a late night show, it's 10 p.m. Why are your kids up? If I drop 9 F-bombs in a row, don't be like, oh my God, my 8-year-old was watching. Well, fucking put her to bed. Or don't let her watch TV at fucking 10:30 at night. Especially not a late night show where you know that fucking dumb clown like me on YouTube is fucking dropping. You know what I'm saying? Just, I want it to be for everybody, but we got to draw a limit somewhere. I can't just not drop any F-bombs. Well, I can. I probably should. I don't know. Weigh in on that. What y'all think? I feel like it's less genuine if I don't do any. I don't think I could not. I don't think I could go an entire episode without dropping one. But maybe that's embarrassing enough to say. I need to work on that. But either way, we might do one tomorrow night. We don't know. Ryan apparently doesn't have the Rona anymore. He never did, but he's ready. Y'all tune in tomorrow to the page. Find out if we're going to do one tomorrow night. Congratulations to Envy and Chris. Check it out on YouTube after this. I'll try to check in with them if I can use their name in the YouTube tag before I make the video or before I upload it. And hopefully they'll let me. But if they do, they'll have always this embarrassing podcast the night of their wedding to look back on. Great wedding, though. Great DJ. Great food. Great decorations. Great party. Great company. Just like all of you. Good night, everybody. Peace out. Oh, I got to walk over there, too, so it'll take me a minute. So you know how it goes.